What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Torrent, a podcast giving you discussions on music, movies, TV, and video games. I'm your host, Nick, and I'm joined, as always, by Alan and Matt. Guys, what's up?
Hey, dude. How's it going? I just got back from... I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Because I was at my friend's lake house, but they call it a camp.
Okay.
And I was wondering if that's like a New York thing. What do you guys call like a lake house? Like, do you say you're going to the cottage? Do you say you're going to the lake house? Do you say you're going to the camp? Like,
I'd probably say cottage. If we slept in tents or anything that doesn't have running water, I would definitely say camp. But otherwise, if it's like a lake house, I would definitely say cottage.
yeah, isn't that weird that they call it a camp? Like, it's a really, really nice, like, it's got electricity, it's got running water, it's super nice, but they call it the camp.
I've never heard that. I always say I just would say lake house.
Oh, okay.
So
anyway, I was there this weekend. It was a lot of fun, good time. So.
What'd you do? Do anything exciting, like jet ski, boating?
Yeah, there was a boat, there was a jet ski. He let us take, the jet ski out and around the lake and stuff. That was cool, and we did some drinking games at night, and it was a fun time.
That sounds awesome.
cool.
Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I have school starting next week. I've been playing a lot of video games in anticipation of the amount of video games I won't be able to play when school starts. So
Trying to cram it all in.
yeah, I'm just getting it done. So I played The Sims 4 a lot in the past 3 days. A lot. It's so fun. Man.
Cool.
Yeah, I could really just talk about that. I'm gonna start a Sims 4 based podcast. I just wanna let you all
An
know.
offshoot.
Did you make like a family, or did you make a single person?
No, I made a single dude. He's chatting up this girl, Summer. Things are getting pretty hot with Summer.
Wow.
Ooh.
But this other girl comes in, Dina Caliente. She's trying to switch it up. She's trying to get into Larry. So, yeah, guys,
Dina, gotta watch out for them Dina Calientes.
Yeah. So, my guy Larry and Don will go out, and then Dina ends up showing up.
Dang. It's like Bachelor in Paradise over here.
Pretty spicy. Yeah, I think.
Have you been watching that?
Sadly, yes. I have been watching it a little
Dude,
bit.
I've been watching it too. It's so intense.
I'm a little behind, but...
Oh.
Yeah.
I think I've only watched the first 2 episodes, so I didn't watch the most recent one. But...
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, Matt, thank you so much for having us over your house for a whole week. That was super fun, man.
No problem. Thank you guys for coming. That was great.
Yeah, it was a blast. It was, I had a good time.
Definitely. You are welcome anytime. DC is always available.
Thank you.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Come on back.
We're going to talk a little bit more in depth about that a little bit later, but first let's get to the news here. You guys ready?
So ready?
This is a weekly download. Our first news story today. Guys, we talked about the trailer for the Happy Time Murders a while back. That movie came out this weekend.
Oh, was that the one with the puppets in it?
The puppets, yep. I had a chance to go see it this weekend. It was funny. It was enjoyable. It's a fun popcorn movie for people who just want to sit back and watch a dumbass movie. I think if you like Sausage Party, the animated movie with all the food, if you kind of dug that one and thought that was clever and funny, then I think you're going to like the Happy Time Murders. The movie was surprisingly charming and heartfelt, despite being super raunchy and R-rated. I thought, they actually, I don't know, you started to care about some of the puppet characters. It was pretty good. And definitely stay for the end credits, because at the end credits, they kind of show you the puppeteers and how they maneuver all the puppets, and it's just so funny watching them do really ridiculous and absurd and raunchy things with puppets while the puppeteers are standing behind them, two puppets having sex, but it's puppeteers there's 3 puppeteers a puppet, and they're all moving the strings together to make them have sex. It's so funny.
Jeez.
Wow.
But
I would check that out.
So it's a pretty raunchy movie, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, it's an R-rated comedy with puppets, so it's gonna have tons of drugs and puppet jokes, and it was just a fun movie. So, but obviously it's not great. So, I'd probably give it, my official review is going to be, because we haven't had one of these in a while, is going to be, I think, 3 out of 5 bottles of mead. Nothing spectacular, kind of middle of the road, but a surprisingly good movie despite what a lot of the critics the critics are saying about it. So I had a good time. I think you guys would definitely enjoy the movie.
I probably won't be checking it out, but if like I'm at a friend's house and they're like, "Hey, you want to watch this movie?" I might be like, "Okay, sure."
Yeah,
make its way to Netflix.
I guess if nothing else is on.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Alan's right. If it makes its way to Netflix or Hulu or something like that, and you're extremely bored, and you're like, "All right, I'll just pop this on for a little bit," then definitely check it out.
Okay, cool.
All right, the next story, guys. So, have you guys been up on the whole James Gunn Guardians 3 kind of drama that's been going on lately?
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I've not. So,
all right, Alan, you want to catch Matt up to speed a little bit?
Well, I mean, I heard about them basically removing him from production, and then the cast being like really upset about it.
Yeah. So
I didn't hear too. I forget what the reason was. Was it like a harassment change thing?
Without getting like too political, because that's just not what we do on the show. There's been a lot of with the whole. I'm trying to word this very bipartisan, I guess. So pretty much what happened was somebody tipped Disney and says, "Hey, James Gunn tweeted out this 10 years ago. We think you guys should fire him." And it was some lewd comments about child rapist. He was making a joke. He was making a very inappropriate joke, but it was from 10 years ago. And obviously people can change in 10 years, but so what ended up happening was Disney ended up firing James Gunn from Guardians 3, and then all the cast members, a lot of Hollywood people are like, "How could you do this? How could you fire James Gunn? He's a really nice guy. We love him. Like, he would never do anything like that. He was telling a joke on Twitter." And then all of a sudden, Dave Bautista, who plays Drax, was like, "Well, I'm out of this movie if you're not going to have James Gunn be the director." And then all of a sudden, the news came out the other day, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 delayed indefinitely, so we might not even get a third Guardians movie until they figure all this mess out. What do you guys think?
Wow.
What? I did not know that. That is crazy.
Yeah.
I think... I don't know. I'm so torn.
Yeah.
I don't think jokes like that are ever really that funny. And also, why would you ever post about that? Couldn't you just not ever post about that?
I mean,
like,
if you're a comedian and a director and you're trying to get out there, and it's Twitter 10 years ago where not as many people were on Twitter, it wasn't as popular, you just throw some stuff out there to get your name out there to you think it's funny at the time. I'm sure in context it made a lot of sense. It was probably very topical at the time. Taken out of context 10 to 12 years later, I'm sure it doesn't make that much sense. And it probably comes off as pretty negative, but I don't know. It's a tough situation, and I think Disney's really trying to be firm and really not backpedal too much, which is kind of causing a lot of problems. But on one hand, I could see where Disney is like, "Nope, we're not going to rehire him. We made our decision. We're going to move on from there." And good for Disney for being like that. But also, it kind of sucks because James Gunn is a really good director, and I liked the Guardians movies. And if the original crew of the Guardians movies doesn't want to do these movies now, it's going to screw everything up. I'd hate to see them recast the characters or whatever they have to do to keep it going or whatever. So I don't know.
That's true. I don't know. That's tricky. I also kind of support Disney for like sticking to their guns and being like, "Nope, that's just ridiculous, and we're not going to deal with that."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's tough.
It is tough. Yeah. It's a very tough situation.
It's just so crazy how like one little thing like that from so long ago can affect you. But yep. I mean, that's kind of a theme with a lot of things. Like they say to make your Facebook profile private when you're searching for jobs, because there could be something on there that could, influence somebody hiring you. It's just
right.
Every little thing that you put out in public like that can always come back. So you just got to be so careful with it all.
Right. Absolutely. All right, moving on to some gaming news here. We watched a little featurette the other day. Looks like Smash Bros. For Switch. Is it officially called Smash Bros. Ultimate? Is that what it's called? Yep. They are adding some Castlevania characters now, so it's going to up their roster to about 73 characters. What do you guys think about this?
I think that's absurd. I just can't believe how many characters are going to be in this game, how expansive it is. I mean, I think when we were watching it too, it was something like 300 different stages you could choose between, all these different items. Like, they are just pulling out all the stops for this. So I believe the characters they were adding were Simon and Richter from Castlevania. So those are the two additions if you haven't heard the news.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just going to be just a crazy game. You're going to be able to play 100 games, and no two games are ever going to feel like the same game because there's just so much variety going on. So,
do you think they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot with this a little bit? Like, if they make this game so big and so expansive, what are they going to do on their next console for the next iteration of Super Smash Bros? Like, there's nowhere to go now. They've hit their peak.
But like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, a gaming company making the best game that they possibly can. Like, I'm all for that. So
I agree. No, I agree. I played devil's advocate a little bit, but it is a lot of content, and you don't see that much content too often in games, in AAA games like this. So that's good.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be really cool, or it could potentially just be like completely ridiculous and just like there's too much stuff going on, and it's just they don't mesh well. Some are very overpowered. I think it would be hard to balance that many different characters, so it'll be interesting. I am leaning towards the excitement. I think it's going to be cool. I like learning different characters. I like I just like when it's like, oh, who's your favorite character from this game? And everyone has a different one because there's so many options. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
But I feel like lots of times there's going to be balancing issues.
Yeah, but I mean, they always say that Smash was never meant to be a competitive game. So I think they designed for it to be fun more than they designed for it to be balanced. So it'll be cool.
I only have fun if I'm winning. So.
Well, we'll see. Hot takes from Matt. We'll see what happens. All right, Matt, you wanted to give a little shout out to this game, to a game here. What do you got?
Yes. Okay. Life is Strange is like a graphic novel type, choose your own adventure type game, and it's out for like pretty much everything right now. It's super cool. It's based around this girl who like, it's just kind of like a girl who's in college, and it goes through. It's like a coming of age type story, and it's like pretty heavy. And the way the game works is that like you get to choose a lot of like kind of what happens. You pick how a character will respond to a certain thing, and it affects other characters, and it totally can change the game. Like, I made a dumb move when I was playing the game once. I made a kind of weird choice, and I didn't remember something from earlier, and like a character died because of it. And so it's just like so interesting. I really think it's very like thematic, so anyone who doesn't really like games would like this game. So this game is called Life is Strange. They had a prequel that was released late 2017, and now they just announced that Life is Strange 2 is going to be coming out.
Okay.
Now depending on how you beat Life is Strange, depending on how you beat Life is Strange 1, like drastically changes the end result. So I'm interested to see what happens in the second one, because I saw literally 48, because after you do each one, there's like 48% of the people solved it the same way you did. So 48% of people solved the end of the game the way I did, and then 52% solved it a different way. So I'm excited to see how they carry this on. I hope that would be freaking cool. Oh man, I hope I didn't uninstall my game. I hope that it uses your previous game, because I think some games do that. They use your previous install to like get data and like figure out how the new game will start. So either way, no matter how they do that, the new one is coming out, and this game is just so interesting and so cool, and it's on sale all the time. And if you've got someone that you're trying to get into video games, or you aren't even into video games and you're kind of just thinking about trying something out, this game is something I would definitely recommend.
Nicki Minaj came out with a new album. Alan, you had a chance to listen to a lot of this. I had a chance to listen to a lot of this. We'll start with you. What do you think of this album?
Yeah, we listened to it in the car a little bit.
We did,
at DC. Yeah. I remember we kind of started it. Overall, I think it's a pretty average album. There's definitely some songs in it that are good hits and good singles. I think as a whole, I thought the album was just a little bit too sexualized. I mean, Nicki kind of does that in her songs anyways. Like they always have like a little bit of sexual vibe, but or at least some of them do. But when I think back to the songs that I really like by Nicki, it's like Super Bass, which is very like kind of cute and innocent, and
like super
like Roman's Revenge. Yeah, like kind of poppy and stuff, and then Roman's Revenge, which is like really hardcore rap, but it's like it's very intense, like it's very like in your face, and I just thought this one just kind of had a direction that was just a little bit too much of trying to sell the sex side of it.
I mean, the album art itself speaks for itself. You know what I mean? Like, I have a hard time listening to this at work because I pull up, Spotify at work, and the album art is her, like pretty much naked, and I can't really bring that up on my computer without being, not safe for work. So yeah, I hear you on that.
Yeah, but I think there were some songs I really liked on this. Two of my favorites were one was Chun-Li, which I know is one of her singles.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and then another one was Majesty, which I had a feature in it from Eminem. So
yeah, I like that one. I liked Bed, was really good, and Hard White, I think, was good also. Bed had Ariana Grande in it, right?
Yeah. Queen of Pop.
Yeah, Queen of Pop. Yeah, cool. So if you had to give this a rating, what would you give it?
I think I would give it, I'd say 2.5 out of 5 bottles of mead. It was just a very average album, and not too crazy about it, but definitely like some of the singles off of it. So
yeah, I'm the same. I'd probably have to give it a couple more listens, but yeah, 2.5 or 2.25 or something like that if I want to split hairs a little bit out of 5 for sure. Cool. Also on the music side, guys, we have a couple bands that came out with some new singles. The first one being Bring Me the Horizon. Bring Me the Horizon, for those of you who don't know, is a hardcore screamo band. I didn't really like them as a screamo band, and then maybe 2 years ago, 2015, 2016, they came out with this concept album which completely went in a separate direction, and they end up becoming more of like a they didn't really scream at all. They became a band more akin to like an electronic rock band. Essentially, they became more of like a band like Paris or some other stuff, and I really enjoyed that album, and that was a really big thing for me. So now, as a follow-up to that album, they came out this new single called Mantra, which I thought was right in line with that concept album that they came out with. Same electronic stylings, same vocals, and I thought it was pretty good. I'm excited to see where they're going to go from there, and I'm excited for this, supposed new album that's coming out from them. And then also we have a new single from the 1975.
I really, really liked it. It's sort of chill-ish. It's like a really good end of summer song. I really love the 1975. I think they are like pop, but like rock pop almost, which I think is a super cool vibe. And I really like everything that they put out. So I think this new song is pretty great. What do you think, Alan?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty decent. Yeah, pretty average song. I like 1975 a lot too, so it's cool that they're releasing some new songs out and getting some new stuff out. So
yeah, it's cool to see. I agree. It's cool to see some new stuff from them. I thought the song was just okay, but I'm interested to see what else they come out with, especially if there's a new album on the way. Also,
cool. Oh yeah. I would love to see them live. I think they'd be a good band.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Definitely.
All right, cool. Moving on to some music picks here. First up, we got Used to Be by Gashi. I think this song bumps. It's got a great beat behind it. Gashi, I listened to a bunch of his stuff. Not my favorite guy in the world, but I really like this song. And, I think he knocked it out of the park with this one. It kind of fits right into a lot of the very trappy, harder songs that's been coming out lately. So I like this. I like the song a lot.
I don't normally like this kind of thing, but it's okay. It's
pretty good.
Oh yeah. You're digging a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't explain why. Yeah. I can't mean like.
Wow.
I really like beats sometimes. Sometimes, no matter what they're talking about, if the beat is good, like.
Yeah.
I'll like it. So.
And that's exactly the vibe I get on this song.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. It's
yeah.
Like, no matter what they talk about, I'm like, yeah, this is a pretty sweet. Sweet beat there. So.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. What you guys got today?
Next up, I got the song "Get Along" by Kenny Chesney. It's a new song. I think he released it back in around April. Just a very good country song. Good message. It's just about getting along with your fellow people and having a good time, and just try not to worry too much about the things in the world and just get along with everyone. So nice little country song. Nice little message.
Wow, very nice.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the song I have is called Previously, and it's by like a DJ, a musician called Swim Good Now, and it's featuring 3 people. Anna Wiebe, I would assume that's how you pronounce, Japanese Wallpaper, who I'm seeing live in a few months, so I'm excited about that.
Okay.
And then also CLLLAPS, which is CLLLAPS. And the
3 L's?
song, 3 L's, yeah.
Damn.
Oh.
3 L's.
Yeah. So he means business. The thing I like about this album and this song is that it's like that niche kind of like that niche type of music that's my favorite music of all time. Really chill, indie, pop-ish electronic music, and it takes so many different people. Like the guy Swim Good Now, I've never heard of him before, but there must be like 25 different artists of this type of music that I love so much. And it's a humongous collaboration, and there's like often like 3 or 4 people on each song. It's like the biggest collaboration I've ever seen of stuff like this. And a lot of people who make this type of music like stick together on the same labels and stuff like that. And I just think this is so cool, and it's just like it's neat. Like one of them features this guy Scott Orr, who's like a folk singer. So like, and he's doing a song with Izzard, who's my favorite DJ ever. So like, oh man, and that song is cool too. Oh man, so it's a very interesting, like really cool album. So look up Swim Good Now.
Is this like ambient, or is this just like chill electronic?
I would say chill, because sometimes
cool.
it's more upbeat or like more like active. I wouldn't say ambient. I would say chill.
Cool. Cool.
When are you seeing Japanese Wallpaper?
November, I think.
Oh, cool.
November 13th or something. And Shalu. And I think Shalu is also on this album too. Cool. And Izzard is, and just like Cosmos Midnight, and so
wow,
a lot of cool things on there. Yeah. So I'll let you know how the concert goes.
Yeah, you definitely have to give us a concert review for that. That'd be sweet. Yeah.
I remember you showing me Japanese Wallpaper before. They had like that one song Cocoon that was really good. Cocoon. Yeah, I dig them a lot. So that'll be cool to see.
They have that song Between Friends, which is really good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
should give them another listen.
Yeah, he doesn't have too much more stuff out, but Shalu does. So I'll send you some of his stuff. So
cool.
Should be fun. Yeah.
Nice. Well, as always, if you want to get in touch with us, you can find us at thetorrentpodcast@gmail.com and at thetorrentpod on Twitter and Facebook. Also, feel free to go to our merchandise store. The link is located in the description of our episode, where you can find all the t-shirts, all the mugs, all the phone cases that your little heart desires. So make sure you
phone cases on there.
Yeah. You can get phone, laptop cases. You can get wall art. You can get a whole bunch of stuff.
Wall art.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep. Absolutely. I think you can do some flags on there too. So,
oh, cool.
Did you fix the link yet, or?
Well, way to embarrass me on that one, Alan. No, I mean, yes, I did. Yeah, and then also, guys, we haven't played games in a while, but because we've been, haven't played games on the internet in a while together. But we'll probably get back on and stream a little more on Twitch. So make sure you go to twitch.tv/thetorrentpod, Torrent Podcast for our Twitch stream.
I have something I want to say.
Okay.
So there's some games that have like Quiplash is a game, for example, and it's a game that's like a word kind of game, like a funny kind of like almost like Apples to Apples or Cards Against Humanity type game, and people can play on their phones from a distance, and there's like audience participation and stuff like that. Do you guys think that would be something cool to do on a stream?
I actually do. I think that'd be really fun, and it'd be a good way to get some of our listeners and viewers in the discussion. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, because there's like a Humble Bundle with a bunch of those games, and I was looking into them.
Is that like Jackbox.tv, like those type of games?
Yeah. It's a You Don't Know Jack bundle.
Jackbox. Yeah. Okay.
Well, the game that they have is You Don't Know Jack, but it's kind of similar to that, I think.
Yeah.
And they have like a drawing one where like someone draws a picture and you have to vote on what the title is, and like people vote in, and like people. So, like, I think that would be kind of cool. So I just wanted to know what you guys thought.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be a sweet idea. Maybe we'll do some of that.
Yeah, so
Cool.
stay tuned, fans.
Cool. And then also make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, follow on any of our podcast feed. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, and Stitcher. All those anywhere you normally listen to podcasts. It would help us greatly and continue to help bring the show that we love to do for you guys each week. All right. So as we mentioned off the top of the show, guys, we kind of all hung out in DC for a while. Had a super good time. I figure we just kind of take it easy today and just kind of recap the trip a little bit now that we're all sobered up from the After Dark episode, and just kind of
I might be a little drunk still from that.
And just kind of give a little shout out. And Matt, you could tell us a little bit about DC and all the cool things to do in DC, and we can comment here or there where we can, and and kind of go from there. Just kind of have an open conversation. So let's just start off. We kind of touched on it in the After Dark episode, but we for your birthday we kind of went out axe throwing. Now that was, I think, the first time for all of us that we've ever been axe throwing, and that was really fun.
I was gonna say that's probably one of the best ones to start with. One of the best things we did, because that was super fun. I was I don't want to say I was like surprised, because axe throwing sounds awesome, but like I was surprised at how much fun it was and how like accessible it was. And our friend Megan, who came with us, shout out to her. She was like
MVP,
incredible.
MVP.
She was the MVP. She was just like, I don't know what I'm doing, and she would just take like the axes and just like freaking just like nail them.
Whip
she was,
it,
like
and
really
bullseye.
good. Yeah.
So, it was cool how like anyone could do it. Like the girls had no trouble doing it, the guys had no trouble doing it. Like anyone of any size, like it was very all encompassing, which was cool. So.
Yeah, I think they really got it down to like they know the range you have to throw at to be successful, to have a high hit percentage, and the guys that were helping us out were just really cool. I went in there thinking there'd be a lot more rules, and it'd be tighter rules, like okay, keep your head on a swivel, make sure and we got in there and they're just like, yeah, just stand behind the line, make sure no one's throwing when you're throwing. And I'm like, okay, somebody's gonna get their arm cut off. But
there was a couple close calls, weren't there?
Yeah,
there was
I
a
think
time
so.
where PJ was up there getting his axes, and I like just didn't even notice. And the guy was like, "All right, you might want to just wait a second." And I threw an axe and didn't even notice. And then he's like, "Okay, hold on, wait a second." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Oh my god!" I just threw one. He was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I thought you would have noticed." And I was like, "Nope, I didn't notice." So might not bode well for their business model, but it was super fun. So
no, it was. And then I thought I'm like, oh, this is cool. I wasn't too worried about throwing them. I didn't feel like I was going to hurt myself at all or anything. Then the guys who worked there got out that huge full size axe with the long ass like sledgehammer handle.
Like the fire axe?
The fire axe. They were whipping that. I thought somebody was going to get hurt throwing that thing. Like that thing was so big.
I totally agree. Those guys were badass. They were just like whipping those things like crazy.
Yeah.
It was sweet.
Do you guys think it would be fun to do again? Because I almost wonder if the novelty of it was sort of enjoyable. Like it was amazing the first time we did it. I'm almost wondering if we went back again, if it would be as fun, or if it would be like still fun, or just not fun at all.
I would definitely want to go back. I want to master throwing one-handed. I had the most trouble throwing one-handed, and then also if they had like a place to do that, I would definitely join an axe throwing league and play competitively like week to week, like almost like a dart league, because the game we played was very similar to darts. We played cricket. Like if you're a dart fan, we played a form of that, like cricket with the axes. I'd be up to going and just having a couple beers and just go throw axes for a couple hours. That'd be fun.
I think they have a league, but I don't think it's. I mean, it said like World Axe Throwing League, which means I'm pretty sure there's not a lot of axe throwing leagues out there. There's maybe one, but I agree. I think Alan, it would be fun, because I think it would be like darts, especially like if we went again, we all had that experience. We would start to get like more competitive and stuff, and have like strategies, and I think it would still be cool. I think if I went with a group of people that were going for the first time, though, it might not be as fun for me, because they're experiencing the novelty for the first time, and I would wanna.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't that great, but
right.
So.
But those axe axe throwing places are getting really popular. I've been seeing a lot of it on social media. Jason Momoa, who's playing Aquaman, I think had a famous clip where he like one-handed chucked the axe at like a Toronto bar or something like that, and then just like rocked a Guinness back, and then just called it a day, and it was awesome. But yeah, no, it was fun. I had a great time. It was, and then we gotta mention it. We got ChickfilA, and we brought it with us, guys. Those tenders were so good.
Yeah, I'm glad Alan's on the tender train now.
Yeah.
Did you know that like the first time I had Chick-fil-A, I don't know what it was, but I did not like it. It must have been a bad batch. But I swore off Chick-fil-A I swore off Chick-fil-A for like 2 years.
Jeez.
And just having it again in like DC, and like I've had it a couple times now in Connecticut, I just cannot believe that I didn't give it another shot sooner, because it was incredible.
Yeah.
I cannot believe how divisive the community is on the nuggets versus tenders debate. Like Cece, so my girlfriend Cece, who was the one who got, so by the way, shout out to Cece for the Chick-fil-A. That was really awesome.
Well, for putting the whole event together and organizing the whole thing, knocked it out of the park. Shout out to her.
Yeah, really great. But she's met some of my friends before, and we would talk about Chick-fil-A, and she'd be like, yeah, the tenders are so great, aren't they? And then like one of my other friends, Lauren, I think, was like, no, I hate the tenders. I love the chicken nuggets. I was like, how do you hate this one type of breaded chicken, and then you love this one other type of breaded chicken from the same place?
I don't know, man.
I don't know, but I mean, I guess if you have a bad batch like Alan did, Cece said she's had bad batches of tenders too, so I guess that's a real thing.
Oh, okay, maybe it happened for me then.
Yeah,
I did try the chicken sandwich recently, and that's like awesome too. So
yeah,
so good.
I'm a big Chick-fil-A fan now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys have, I think, mentioned this in passing before, but you guys are avid rock climbers. So you took me rock climbing. Thank you to you guys for hanging in there and being like super chill about me being like a complete rookie while you guys are climbing these really hard ones, and I can only do like half a wall of like the easiest one or something like that. But it was fun. Every time I go with you guys, I have a great time. It's a cool sport. I feel a little out of place when I'm there with everyone else, but like it's fun. It's fun to do every once in a while. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I don't think you should feel out of place. I think the community, like from what I've seen, at least here, I've not really climbed anywhere else, but like the community of rock climbers is always super open, and they want to help other people, and they're very talkative and friendly. So
yeah,
I mean, you just don't have that much experience, which a lot of people don't. So
yeah,
you feel out of place. I just think, I don't know, it was fun. I love rock climbing though. That's one of the reasons I love it, because of the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you guys every time we're hanging out, if you guys want to go, I'm definitely in for that.
Cool. And the place we went rock climbing has 60-foot walls, which not a lot of places have. So
60 foot's pretty high. Looking down at the top was a little scary.
Yeah, and just on some of the more challenging routes, it's a marathon climbing that high. It's insane. I couldn't believe how winded I was when I got to the top. So a very cool experience to do a little bit taller of a wall.
Yeah.
Dude, the other day I was there with some friends, and these guys were lead climbing. And so basically what lead climbing is like you have the rope tied into your harness, and as you climb, you like lift the rope and clip it into the clips on the wall. I don't know what happened, but the guy at the bottom must have just had so much slack out. And this guy was almost at the top of the 60-foot wall. He falls, literally comes within 15 feet of the ground, and the guy who was belaying at the bottom shoots up and ends up higher than the other guy.
Oh my god!
The whole bay of the gym, because there's like 3 bays, so like the whole like section of the gym just got like dead silent, and everyone was staring. This girl I was with was like, "Oh my god, I'm never lead climbing," and I was trying to be like, I mean, that should never happen when you're lead climbing, so I don't think you have to worry about that. But like, that guy must, like, when you fall and you're lead climbing, you're like, oh man, that was scary, but then it stops in a half second and it's over.
Yeah.
That guy fell for like a full second. I can't imagine like what he would, I mean, like maybe like almost 2 seconds he fell. He fell so far.
Wow.
And just like, I don't know. I don't know how you would recover from that. I would never climb with someone I didn't know in the future like that.
Was there a big weight difference between the two guys? Like,
No,
was that a part of it? No?
It wasn't like they were tall. Like they were probably as tall as you, Alan. And they were like muscular. Well, like I mean, like not.
But I mean, as long as the
muscular.
weight's around the same.
Yeah, it was definitely around the same.
Oh,
they were
okay.
similar height and stuff like that. But I think he must have just had like the guy must have taken a big fall, and the dude must have just had like an insane amount of slack out, like so much that it was like draped all around the ground.
Seriously.
Was he just not paying attention or something like that?
I don't know. I mean, like that's not even paying attention. That's like being lazy. Like
Yeah.
you have to actively pull out that much slack.
Right.
So it was just insane to me that like I don't know, like that. I don't know. That would be scary. I would be super cautious if I was climbing in the future.
Can't get complacent with safety when you're rock climbing.
Yeah, I mean, and lead climbing can get scary like that, for example. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Wow.
side tangent. But
Anyway,
crazy.
we had a good time.
Yeah, we had a good time. No near death.
Yeah, we were safe.
So, in between binge watching Workaholics and playing video games, we also went to some bars. We have a couple traditions when we come to DC, Matt, and that's we go to a couple places. One in particular that we really really love, and so I figure we give a little bit of love to that on the show. We go to a place called Right Proper Brewing. Matt, why don't you tell us a little bit about the bar?
So it's called like a brew pub, I think, because the Right Proper Brewing Company has a actual just like brew house in DC, I think, or like Maryland or something like that. So there's like two locations technically, but the one we go to is in like the Shaw area of DC, and they just like it's such a cool vibe. Like it's just everyone who goes there is like young and cool, just like wants to hang out, and it's really chill. And there's like really cool art on the walls, and the drinks are all really good. The food especially is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're a brewing company, but their food is just the reason I keep going back. Especially their mac and cheese.
Yes.
I just think that mac and cheese is like the best I've ever had.
Yeah.
I think it's so great. So to anyone in this area or coming by or like stopping by or driving through or whatever, go to Right Proper in DC. It is just everything about it. It's like perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah,
vibe.
I mean the vibe in there is really clean. It's like really neat. There's a lot of cool art on the walls. If you're into charcuterie and cheese plates, they specialize in that. You can get pretty much anything to drink. I think their beers that they brew in house are decent. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna be over the moon about it. But they're okay. But I love the atmosphere. I love everything they have to offer food-wise, like you said, Matt, and yeah, it's just one of my favorite spots. Every time we come visit you, we have to go there.
Yeah, I agree, and I love that. I love that tradition. That place is awesome. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple other spots we keep finding ourselves back at in DC, and that's Alexandria Harbor, like
National
the
Harbor.
Water. Yep, right by the water. Yeah.
The waterfront.
Waterfront.
So like Alexandria has like a really cool old town area, which dates back to before the United States formed. So they recently had this big party in Old Town because like they're celebrating their some like I can't remember how many years. I don't even want to guess and embarrass myself, but they've been it's been an established city or town or whatever since before the United States was a recognized country. And I just think that's super cool. And they have a bunch of old pictures around Old Town that have like from like the 1920s and stuff. And you could see like what it was like a long time ago. It's really, really cool. Very interesting. So so we're usually by the waterfront. We went to that place we went, Vola's.
Yep.
Oh, actually, Nick, we've been there a couple times.
We have, yeah.
They have like it's like right on the water. You can sit outside even if you want to. They have like really cool like they have good seafood there, and they've got like really cool drinks and stuff. So, Old Town's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That was great.
Cool. Yeah, it is. It is great. So Matt, just to finish up the conversation here, what other places in DC would you recommend for kind of first timers, or people coming back who might not have tackled everything? I mean, besides obviously you have the National Mall and all the monuments and all the museums.
Yeah.
That's the very touristy thing. Yeah. But like besides that, besides the stuff we've already mentioned, things to do, what else is there for people who are coming to DC to check out?
Okay, so one thing that's very cool that I don't hear a lot of people talking about, there's this place called Art Tech House. It's all one word.
Okay.
It's like almost like an art museum that's mixed with technology.
Oh,
and
okay.
they're lots of times interactive. So like Cece and I went to one once, and it was based on the cherry blossoms because the cherry blossoms is a big thing in DC. And like the big room had like this motion capture thing, and you could like point to something and like move your hands, and like the images would move, and so like there's all this art stuff that is interactive and really fun and really cool. It's like good for people of all ages, and it's really neat. It's called Art Tech House. It's all one word.
Cool.
And so that place is awesome. If you're like looking for like nightlife stuff, my favorite places are we went to this one place. El Rey is really cool. There's a lot of interesting, like cool people to talk to there. El Rey is super fun. That's like on U Street. Mm-hmm. And then my favorite place probably is called Penn Social, and they have just like dancing when it gets late at night, and they've got like board games all over the place, and like the huge brick Jenga and Connect 4 and stuff. So Penn Social and El Rey are two of my favorite bars. Obviously, cool. Right. But then if you're looking for like a nature type thing, the Billy Goat Trail, which we did,
that was awesome.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, it's like a rock scramble type thing. And actually, also Alan, if you're into this, and Nick, both of you guys, really, there's they have like outdoor rock climbing there. Like, I don't works. I heard it's not like the greatest. That's like pretty cool. But it's pretty close by to everything, so it's definitely worth a trip because it's not that far. So, but even if you're not rock climbing outside, like it's got like a really cool rock scramble hike type thing. And if you don't even want to do that, like they just have a cool nature trail kind of thing. So like a towpath. So that's
if
cool.
you do the Billy Goat Trail, make sure you bring water because we were so ungodly thirsty on the walk back.
I forgot about that.
Be responsible, pack the proper hiking gear because otherwise you're gonna have to walk like a mile and a half back and just like soaked in sweat and extremely dehydrated.
I think we just underestimated how long we were going to be hiking for.
Oh yeah,
that's what it was. So.
For sure.
Yeah.
But that was fun though. I would definitely go back and do that again.
Yeah.
Well, that was the problem, is that it was so fun that we were just like, let's, like, there were checkpoints where it's like you could exit and go back here, or continue for the next part. We were just like, this is so fun. Let's just keep going. I don't care. I'm just so thirsty, but
nice guys. Cool. Alan, anything to add?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think the one thing I really want to do the next time we're down there is go to a Nationals game. Like, what do you think of that whole thing, Matt? Is it fairly easy to get into the stadium and do all that? And is it kind of worth it?
It's like some of the tickets are super cheap too, like $15, sometimes less.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the stadium is very nice. It's a cool stadium. It's got all the normal stadium stuff, but they've got, one section that has like really classy, like, I don't want to say restaurants because they're like food stands, but
it's higher end food stands. Yeah.
Definitely higher end food stands. Like they've got Shake Shack, which is a big thing in this area, and they're so good. It's just like, so that's cool. The food is good, and like baseball is pretty fun when you go there and you see it. It's like so. Yeah, next time, good call, Alan. We'll have to do that.
So the first time we went to go visit you down there, Matt, I think it was right before Alan came down. We went to that Nationals game, and you guys know I'm not a big baseball fan. I don't follow baseball a lot. I don't go to a lot of baseball games. You took me to the Nationals game. I had a blast as someone who doesn't really like baseball that much. Seeing the game live in Nationals Park in a MLB stadium. With the atmosphere of the stadium, I had a really good time. So yeah, Alan, if you want to go to one, I'm definitely in. It's super fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. So football season is right around the corner, and to kind of kick off that, we're going to be talking some football movies. We're going to have Nate from the Circling the Wagons podcast on again. He was so happy to come on the first time he wants to come on again. We'll check with him. We'll have a little fantasy football talk. We'll talk a little bit about football movies, and we'll see what's up in his life and see what's going on with the Bills. So
maybe some cheerleading movies.
Maybe, yeah. If you want to throw in some cheerleading movies, Alan,
Wait, Alan, why are you going to cheerleading movies rather than football movies?
Well, no, I'm just to mix it up a little. That's all. Gotta.
I just think it's fine. It's like, we're talking about football. I can contribute by talking about cheerleading movies.
I'm just trying to appeal to both genders here, Matt. Okay.
Okay. I mean, I support that.
So look for that next time. This has been an episode of The Torrent. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time. Well, that's it for this episode of The Torrent. Thank you all for listening. Download, rate, and subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast service. If you want to get in contact with us, feel free to send us an email, thetorrentpodcast@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us on Facebook and Twitter @TheTorrentPod. We'll see you guys next time.